I sold my children for $60,000, and the number one question I get asked is, do I regret it? Where are my children now? Do I still have contact with them?
Y'all, I heard someone say that the economy is great right now. I have one question for you. Can I live in your world where the economy is great? Because we're struggling over here.
Just a couple of thoughts. Inflation is not just hitting you personally, it's actually happening to everyone, and especially small business. People also act flabbergasted by the idea that like you're just trying to make money off of me. Bestie, that's business. Yes, I am. And lastly, I'm not holding a gun to your head making you purchase this. So if it's not in your budget, that doesn't offend me, but don't tell me that I need to change my strategy when I can't even pay myself yet because you want a hot chocolate.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Hope, and this is Hope in the Desert. Today we gotta be talking about this crazy backwards economy. We're talking about no more money. Where's the money at? How businesses are being affected by inflation and how that's translating over to people getting laid off, businesses shutting down, and then how that's going into this overall softening job market, which then is leading to these crazy side hustles that we're going to get into as well, and what's going on in the gig economy. So go ahead, sit back, relax, go ahead, get some water if you got some, if you got coffee, if you're a coffee drinker, or tea if you like tea. Whatever it is, go ahead and relax. We got us a good one. Let's go ahead and get into it right now.
You know, the cost of living is getting out of hand. This whole inflation thing is just getting way, way, way out of hand. It's ridiculous. Everything's gone up. Groceries, property tax. I went to renew my sticker for my plate. It's $151 now. It used to be $131. Insurance, car insurance, health insurance. You name it has gone up. But you know the one thing that hasn't gone up for the average household is the income. It hasn't gone up whatsoever. And I can tell you, listen, for example, we'll go shopping for the house. We'll go to the big box stores, you know, the Sam's and the Costco's. And then during the week, we still have to go to the regular, you know, grocery stores. That's some things. And I'm sitting here telling myself, I don't know how people do it, you know? And I own a business, right? A semi-truck business. And, you know, you're barely making it. Owning a business. Our business, my business that I'm in, trucking, the rates have gone down significantly. The rate for repairs have went up. At the end of the day, this is getting out of hand and needs to stop.
Why aren't we talking about the fact that restaurants are all slow all over the country, especially right now in Southern California, are extremely slow. Like, and I'm not talking about those restaurants that are like mostly alcohol based. I'm talking about like restaurants. Everyone's like, oh, it's because it's holiday just happened. Nah, restaurants are getting slower. I think it has to do with the economy. The other day, I went grocery shopping, and for one meal, it was like $70 for home. For like 5 people. And then I went to go put gas yesterday to get to work. And gas was $6.20 a gallon. Like, I get it. I think that's one of the reasons restaurants are slow. Like, no one wants to come out. I mean, no one can afford to put, what, 2, 3, 4 gallons of gas at $6 a piece? Something needs to change, or restaurants are going to start failing and people are going to stop going out because inflation's killing everything.
I think an amazing gauge to go ahead and see how our economy is doing is off of small business owners. Now, of course, we're going to go ahead and get into the larger business companies and everything in the next section of the video, but we're talking about the small business owners who are actually the backbone of America. This is when we go and judge off of the middle class. Those people who are able to make and create little small and pop businesses and jobs and things like that, when they're struggling and their costs of supplies and everything for restaurants and stores, corner stores, when all of those go up in price to supply these things, now they have to increase their prices. And when they have to increase their prices, they're getting less customers. And when they're getting less customers because people are like, I can't afford to pay this, they have to start laying people off. So then that's where it starts leading into the layoff, into the softening job market, into all of these things contribute. And so it's definitely important to go ahead and get their perspectives of small business owners and how they're feeling. And now we're going to go ahead and hop over here into the comments, because my man is not happy about them not visiting the restaurant. We got a top comment here from the restaurant. He said, everyone wants a 22% tip. Man, ain't that the truth? Everybody, you got a tip for everything. Did I just open the door for you? You got a tip. Did I just go ahead and pour my coffee for you? Did I pour that coffee for you? I'm literally telling you, everybody wants a tip. Minimum. Anything that you're doing, you're paying for it. And then the next comment we have, first, it's expensive as hell. We cannot remember the last time me and my wife went to a restaurant and later we talked about how good the food was. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be real with you. I want to say the same. The cheap options of the fast food is the same prices of these entrees of the higher scale restaurants. We kind of went over this in the last week's video. If you guys want to go check that out, I'll drop the pin here for the card. But yes, there's no more cheap options. So it's sad that you can't even enjoy a good quality meal for a good quality price. You got to get the fast food for the actual quality food prices. Crazy, man. And then the last comment here, I'm not about to pay 30 bucks for a $15 burger. It's pretty simple. I agree. I'm not going to pay 30. Perfectly summed up. I'm not doing it. This is for the top comment of last week's video. This shout out goes to JFUF-G3X. Crazy little different username, but shout out. I appreciate you for commenting down below. We have American prices are almost as high as Canadian. If you want to see some unbelievable prices, check out Alaska. A case of water there is 50 bucks. Whoa, that's insane. That's on a whole nother level. And I appreciate you taking your time. If you do want to go ahead and have a chance to go ahead and get shout out in the next week's video, go ahead and comment down below. As you were the top comment for last week's video, I'm going to do this next clip for you. We'll be checking out the Canadian prices. But before we do that, if you guys do have any requests that you would like me to react to, please feel free to go ahead and email me. My email is in the description always, or drop a comment down below, and I'm always reading them. Appreciate
There is no more cost of living. There is only cost of surviving. My girlfriend and I met for coffees the other day, and she owes a little bit of money to the government, and she was crying to me, saying, I don't know what to do. I'm working 3 jobs. I'm a single mother. Like, I can't afford to live here anymore. So she had a call with the CRA, and the CRA ripped her apart. They said it is unacceptable that you have not maxed out your credit cards to pay us. It is not acceptable that you are paying $1,000 a month in groceries for yourself and your 3 children. You need to cut back. So she said to them, you're telling me that you want me to take the food from my children's mouth to pay your greedy ass, when it's your fault that groceries are astronomically priced right now. We are all in this together. We are all suffering together. The cost of living is killing people. Families are falling apart. People don't get to see their children because they have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs. I need to let people know that there's another way. And I'm telling you, you need to start looking into the world of digital marketing, digital products, digital sales. These are all things that you can do at home. Make them at home, build them at home, implement it at home, start marketing it at home, and start making the money at home. Working your 9 to 5 is barely getting you by. You're never going to get ahead. But I'm telling you, you need to do something, because this isn't going to get better. Watch what's going to happen in the housing market this year. Watch the price of groceries. Watch the price of gas. Like, we're not getting relief. This is not going away. So how are you going to get on top of it? What are you going to do to make sure that you and your family can survive?
Yo, is this really how they're doing this over here in Canada? They're having the government call you up and say, why are you not maxing out your credit card? Why are you trying to feed your kids instead of paying my bill? I'm not going to Canada. I thought Canada, hey? No, I thought Canada was pretty cool up there. No, that's insane. Yo, Canada, y'all need to get up out of there. Y'all gonna have to move. But, I mean, don't come to America, because that whole American dream, that stuff is dead. That was, you know what? Let's go and hop into that American dream right now.
Hey guys, I hate to be a little too real, but how are we supposed to live like this? Genuinely, like, the economy's so bad. How am I supposed to afford anything when I graduate from college? It feels like you're either rich or you're poor. There's no in between anymore. Inflation is at an all-time high, and it's not even the fun kind. And it's so much more than just simple inflation. It's also shrinkflation. So not only do things get more expensive, but they also get smaller. We're getting served less stuff for a higher price. And then on top of that, it's also skimpflation. So for that less servings for a higher price, we're also getting worse ingredients that are cheaper for the company. And then on top of that, CEO compensation has increased dramatically while worker compensation has stayed pretty much flat. And then on top of that, rent and houses are getting more expensive throughout the entire country. What's getting lower? What's getting easier for the people? Because I can only think of one thing getting lower right now, and it's interest rates. It's money given to us. What?
Can somebody explain to me in crayon eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live?
I know he kind of answered the question himself in his own video, but I want to highlight one thing he briefly mentioned and talk about it, which is that the American dream is dead. Yes, the traditional American dream, which is like doing better than your parents and being able to provide a lot for your family, is dead, or at least it's changed. Because there are many of us that are well aware that we will never be able to make as much money as our parents did. And I think my mother, who is a boomer and benefited directly from the system in place, said it best when she once said, roughly, that the American dream has changed. It's become very apparent to everyone that in this economy, Gen Z, millennials, and some Gen Xers, many of us will not be able to do better than our parents. We won't even be able to do as well as our parents. And now the American dream has become just being able to get by, being able to maybe afford a house at some point, maybe have a kid or two if we're lucky enough to make that much money. And a lot of us, myself included, who has now experienced company like financial related layoffs twice so far in the last 2 years since I've entered the job market. You know, those of us who feel like we're constantly in fight or flight about bills and how we're going to keep making it by, it's making us miserable and feel so hopeless. And yes, I could sit here all day and show you graphs of how like inflation is going up, and while wages are going up, it's just not matching inflation. So it feels like we're all just constantly working and working, and the goalpost just keeps getting moved further and further away from us. And yeah, it has a lot of us extremely stressed and worried and feel like just giving up because we're constantly running a race where the finish line is getting moved further out. And I think it's obvious that we're all just really exhausted by it now. I know I am. I'm constantly hitting a wall with all of this. And a lot of us have to wake up every day blatantly knowing we will never do as well as our parents did. And we just have to try to make it, you know, somewhat close to that.
It's sad because truly the American dream was always to do better than the last generation, that your parents and everything, and also have that white picket fence of the home and making sure you have your family, little 2-car garage, 1-car garage, family, being able to afford that. That's all gone. You can barely afford to buy groceries. You can barely afford to pay for a car with these car payments. Link is up here for the cards if you want to go review. We did that last week to these insane car payments. And then you can't afford to buy a house. Housing prices are insane. Well, I mean, I don't have to tell you that. You know, you ain't buying a house over here in the U.S. anytime soon unless you're rolling in some money. I'm going to go ahead and hop into the top comments here for the American dream. For the top comment, we have, I'd call it the American nightmare now. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely American. You're definitely sleeping out here because it's tough, man. And then we have the next comment. The American dream is now either a lottery jackpot or personal injury lawsuit. Damn, I mean, we are suing as a country. Like, that's all. One thing America's going to do, we going to sue you to get that money. Like, yeah, man, it's sad for real.
I made more money last year than I have ever made in a calendar year before. And I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. How, might you ask? Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too. I moved into a new tax bracket, so they basically take double what they used to. Let's not mention that my property taxes and insurance went up, so did my mortgage. Light bill, high. Water bill, high. Insurance, high. Car payment, high. Groceries, astronomically high. Phone bill high. Cable bill high. Gas prices high. I don't even know how I made it when I didn't make this much money. How are y'all doing it? Like, honestly, how are you doing it?
The economy isn't that bad. Quit being lazy. Chips are $6, $5 on sale. Okay, cereal? $5 for a normal box of cereal, all right? Then let's talk about milk. Oh, $3.69 for a gallon of milk. And then let's talk about meat. $7 for 1 pound of meat, and that's the off-brand. Don't even get me started on toilet paper, because if I want the nice Charmin, it's expensive. And then if your kids like these little fruit cups, yeah, you're screwed. You are screwed. Oh, creamer, because you're trying to quit Starbucks, that's expensive. Oh, yeah, my kids love macaroni. Well, there goes all my money since they like macaroni. Okay, let's go into the deli meat section so my kids can have some sandwiches. Oh, $9 for 1 pound of turkey meat. Oh, 2 chicken breasts, guess how much? Almost $9 for 2 chicken breasts. Oh, and then if you want to clean your house like a normal citizen, you're going to go bankrupt doing that. And if you want to be germ-free to hit up those Clorox wipes, yeah, $14 for a 3-pack of those. Yeah, let's just talk about some Alfredo sauce. To get the pretty good brand, $6 for 1 jar, okay? This cart of 2 bags and some toilet paper cost me almost $70. Half this stuff was off-brand, okay? So yeah, this economy is great.
These last clips are extremely important because this is affecting you being able to put food on the table for your kids or food on the table for yourself to be able to eat. We're talking about $8 for a pound of meat, $4 for a gallon of milk, $6 for a bag of chips, $6 for a bag of cereal. Whoa. We literally went over this last week, so I don't want to harp too much on the prices, but this is insane. If you do want to go ahead and check out those prices of what's really going on in the grocery stores, I'll link that up here for you right now. Go check that out. Put a card up here. It's crazy out here. Seriously, all these prices are insane. We're going to go ahead and hop right into the comments now. Now for the grocery store prices, we got the best comments. On the top comment, I remember when a 12-pack was 3 for $12. Oh my goodness. Do we remember the 3 for $12? At Kroger's, and you go to Costco, you get the little good discounts. Long gone. You kiss that goodbye. And then we have the next comment here. It's so overwhelming shopping for anything. I know we all feeling like that right now. These prices are insane. Last comment we have, it's cheaper to eat out. Man, is this the case? You get squeezed literally from both ends. You can't get a quality meal for a quality price. You get a fast food for quality meal prices. And then you can't even go buy the groceries to cook at home because it's so insane. You get taxed on both ways. The cost of surviving. Summed up. The cost of surviving. We got to make it shake.
Okay, so I'm just checking. We're all unable to buy a house right now, right? Like, I'm not the only one who runs the numbers every single day and looks at the budget and is just like, there is no way on earth that this is potentially feasible for me. Like, I'm working with 2 very average incomes. They're not great incomes, but they're fine incomes. Incomes that 10 years ago probably would have meant that we could buy a house. I digress. Anyway, we pay rent so that we can live somewhere, because when we got out of college, we had to rent so we could theoretically save money to eventually buy a home. Except rent is so astronomical that we are actually not able to save for a home. Even still though, like, we don't pay as much in rent as I know other people do. We don't live in a huge city. It's somewhat affordable, even though I still think it's ridiculous. Compared to other people, it's still affordable. Okay, so subtracting that from what we bring home a month, like, yeah, there's still some money left. Except that somehow, no matter what I do, because we've cut back on everything, we've cut back on groceries, eating out, we haven't actually traveled in a while. I have a freaking coffee machine at home, so I don't buy coffee out of the house. I will admit that we do get avocados, but we do get them from Costco, so it's less expensive. We both work from home, so we shouldn't be paying that much for gas, but yet somehow we are. I'm going through my credit card statement at the end of every month, and I'm literally spending $20 here and there. Like, there are no big purchases on this credit card, but the groceries are killing us. But we also have to eat. We can't not eat. We need to put gas in the car because sometimes we do have to go places. But like, I can't figure out where this is coming from. Like, we're not huge shoppers. We eat at home most of the time. Compared to other people my age, we do not spend money on alcohol or drugs. I don't freaking Uber Eats or Grubhub or anything. And I don't want to sound ungrateful because at the end of the month, we are able to save something, right? But it's not nearly enough to save up for a down payment on a freaking house. And if we did decide to go that route, it would take us, I calculated it, like 12 years of just doing absolutely nothing with our lives, like just staying at home, doing nothing. And I'm not willing to spend the next 12 years completely restricting myself for the dream, the possibility of a dream of getting to buy a home. Like, these are the best years of my life. I want to live them. And even if we did that and we saved for 12 years and we put a down payment on a house, we could not afford a nice one. Our mortgage would still cost more than my rent currently.
Now, what I'm about to say may piss a lot of landlords off, but I don't really care at all. But I'm gonna read to y'all the qualifications that this person wants for this house. And it ain't an amazing ass house. We're not talking about anything super expensive. The rent, like I said, is $16.95, $40 application fee per adult. They want you to make 3.5 times the rent. Standard, for whatever reason, is 3 times the rent. When majority of Americans don't even make 3 times a $1,600 a month rent. I don't know where people just get up and be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make this a national standard that people have to make 3 times the rent amount. Majority of people can afford 2 times the rent on a specific basic home like this. But this person is going even further. They don't want you to have 3 times the rent. They want you to have 3.5 times the rent. They want the last 2 years of your W-2s, the last 3 months of your check stub, driver's license or ID, social security card. They want you to make 2 months worth of rent as your security deposit before you even move in, and you have to have a credit score of at least a 670. I'm trying to tell you off the bat, that disqualifies so many people from being able to be in a home that is decent. Let's add that up, why don't we? Off the rip, you have to pay first month's rent, $16.95. You have to pay $40 application fee per adult, and let's just say the standard adult is 2 adults, right? You have to pay, if you have a pet, which majority of people in Houston do have pets, dogs, it's a $250 non-refundable fee per pet. So let's just say you have a pet. We're going to add that up. And then you have to make 2 months of the rent to equal the amount of the security deposit. So that's $16.95 times 2. All right. And on top of that, we're not even talking about your utilities and all the things that you have set up. They want you to have rental insurance before you move in. Standard rental insurance is probably about $25 a month. Let's just say that. Before you can even move into this house, sitting in a savings account somewhere or just idle money, you already got to come off of this amount of money. I don't know at what point we stop being human, though. Even as an investor and a landlord, at what point did we stop being human and we say money trumps everything, including people? I don't get it.
Literally have to make $6,000 to $7,000 in order for you just to live by yourself. The absolute rental market is in shambles right now.
Hey y'all, I'm probably about to get fired from my job today, but oh well, who cares? But like, I just want to talk about this because this is something that is really pushed on us heavy in the African American community. I don't care what nobody say. Prioritize building yourself a support system. I don't care what nobody say, because people be trying to have this mentality, oh, I don't need nobody, all I got is me, I don't need to look out for nobody, hustling, grind. This economy ain't no joke. People be in 2-income households still struggling to make ends meet. Like, it really is hard out here. Like, this is the hardest it's literally ever been. Like, I don't care what nobody say. Like, all of these prices is out of control. So prioritize building yourself up a community. I don't care what nobody say. Like, 2 single moms can stay together. Go get with your people. Get them a couple dollars to stay. Prioritize. Don't be messing around trying to date all these different people. If you messing with people and they can't help you at all, they not beneficial to nothing that you got going on, let them go, because this economy ain't no game. Like, I ain't never even really been the type of person that was like pressed for a dude, but it's to the point where like I literally just wanted a boyfriend, like just so that we can come together and pay bills. I don't care what nobody say. Like, all that, I don't need nobody, all I got is me. Yeah, no, that's not no easy way to live. I don't care what nobody say. And I know I done said that like a million times, but for real. Prioritize building yourself a community. And these people that ain't got one, they can brag all day about how they do it on their own, no help. And they be crying behind closed doors trying to figure it out, because it is hard. This economy is a beast. So bye.
Now, what she's saying, now, like this lady is saying, we have to pull together. All of this individualism that we were raised up on in American society is over with. Pull together. Your mom, your brother, your cousin, whatever it is, everyone pull together to be able to afford to live. We're all complaining. Everyone's complaining about how hard it is to live. Come together as a family and stack y'all bread up and make moves. This is what you have to do today.
Baby, you know the economy is bad when you can't even afford to be sad. Like, I can't even afford to be sad. I can't even afford to be depressed. Like, I cannot afford to just sit and sulk and wallow. Like, I literally have to transmute this energy. And it's like, maybe I need
that push? Because would I go so hard if I didn't have to? I don't know. Because, you know, I'm lazy sometimes. So maybe I need this extra push to really make my dreams come true. But then on the other hand, it's like, no, bitch, I'm tired. I'm tired, like, but I can't even afford to be tired. Back in the day, you could afford a little heartbreak. You could afford to call off work, right? You could afford, you know, to go to work and go in the bathroom and cry for 20 minutes. I can't afford it.
What do you do when you cut off all the excess fat of all your wants and everything that you want extra, the sweets and all that? You cut back on all of those, the extra coffees, the avocado toast, all of the things, the luxuries that are supposed to be too expensive for you to be paying for. And all you're left with is the bare bone necessities. And you still can't afford your bills. What do you do at that point? What do you do when you can't afford to be sad? You can't literally afford to reflect on anything about how your life is going, emotion. You have to keep running. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hop into the actual current status of the job market, what's going on with the employers and how the businesses are being affected. And then we're gonna go into the layoffs. And then we're gonna also get into the search for people looking for jobs right now in this crazy market. So let's go ahead and hop right into it.
I don't know if y'all be reading and paying attention to the news, but the economy is in a terrible spot right now. I mean, you got major retail stores that are closing up hundreds of locations just this year. You got Walgreens closing over 150 stores. You got Macy's closing over 100 stores. Foot Locker closing over 400 stores. CVS Pharmacy is closing 900 stores. Family Dollar closing 600 stores. Rue 21 closing 540 stores. I mean, the list goes on and on, from Best Buy, Dollar Tree, Express. Even Walmart is closing down 7 of its supercenters. On top of that, you have the major layoffs. Like Google done already laid off almost 12,000 people. eBay just laid off 1,000 people. Microsoft just laid off 1,900 people. UPS just laid off 12,000 people. Like, bro, it's only May. Even Tesla is laying off over 10% of its entire workforce. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention Apple, a company that's worth $2 trillion, is closing 400 of its retail locations this year. I couldn't even tell y'all what all of that means, because truthfully, I don't even know myself. But if you anybody like me, you will find it ironic that it's all happening at once. But y'all let me know what y'all think.
You're unemployed in the USA. It's not you the reason why you can't find a job. It's literally the job market. So today, they actually came out with a revision of the unemployment numbers, the jobs, and we are down 813,000 jobs. That's crazy. Like, I feel like they've been lying to us and trying to halt talks of a recession, but the unemployment number should come out later this week, so it'll be interesting to see how many people are actually unemployed and, you know, what they plan to do about it. Like, you know, I think it's time for everybody to get out and vote, and like literally, you know, they should be doing something for these people who have been lied to for so long, saying that there are jobs out there. And literally, like I said today, they reported that there is actually a decrease in jobs of 813,000. So, I mean, who knows if it's actually more or if it's just those 813,000 jobs not included into the job market right now. But yeah, if you can't find a job, it's not you. You aren't the problem. It's them. And I want to know what they plan on doing about it.
Now, these last two clips literally make me feel like I've been getting peed on and being told that it was rain for the last couple of years. How is the government continuously telling us that we have all these jobs that were being created just to revise and wipe off away 1 million of those jobs? For them to say, oh, oops, we made a mistake. It's actually 1 million less. So all these jobs that are supposed to be hiring and all these listings are not real. And then we have all of these businesses that are closing down when the economy, they were getting shown every day how amazing this economy is and how businesses are booming and everything is great. There is no problems, but businesses are closing down left and right. And then people are getting fired hand over fist. What is going on here? We got to figure this out and quick. We're going to be reflecting on the comments of the closing of the businesses and how it's affecting these people out here in these streets. So we had a top comment here. It says, my paycheck only lasts 2 days. Oh man, only 2 days. Could you imagine that? Your paycheck too much month at the end of the paycheck? Man. And then the next comment here, we have, when I get paid on Friday, I'm broke by Saturday on bills alone. On bills alone. She had at least 2 days. This lady only got 1 day. Then the next day she broke. There's no more money. We're done. Oh my gosh, yo, it's hard out here. And then the last comment we have, we can't afford groceries, let alone all the extra fun stuff. Yeah, you can't even afford to eat. We just go ahead and did a review last week. Go ahead and click on this video if you want to see the real grocery prices exposed out here in these stores. Now, if you do have a job and you are employed, I want to keep you laced up. This is how you can go ahead and know if they're going to be laying you off.
Just a friendly word of caution. If your company out of the blue asks you to fill out a spreadsheet identifying what skills and competencies you have, or they ask you to list out all the projects you're working on, or they ask you to walk through a typical day, or if they ask you to submit a resume so that they can assess what your skills and background are, or if you meet with an HR person or a senior leader and they discuss your workload or your career aspirations, what they're doing is they're building their layoff list and they're determining whether or not you're going to be on it. If this is the case, update your resume immediately.
So as you know, we are seeing hundreds of thousands of layoffs in 2024. It's really just a repeat of 2023. But here's something I've noticed. I've noticed a distinct pattern with how companies are going around this. Step number one, they have a call to return to the office. And when they make that call to the return to the office, they're assuming that a large percentage of people will forfeit their jobs because they're not willing to relocate because they were working remotely. So for example, the company is based in Chicago, but you're working in Delaware. You're not gonna make that relocation to Chicago. Maybe some people will, but quite a lot of people won't, given that there's really high interest rates, the housing market is crazy, and just moving for a job is a ton of work. That's basically what we call quiet layoffs. The second stage in this process is simple. They cut even more people, and this time they use AI and trying to work leaner as the excuse to do this. We've seen companies like IBM do this. We've seen Dell just do this. And I'm anticipating companies that are forcing people back to the office, companies like Salesforce, they are going to do layoffs real soon. It kind of proves my point that I've been saying for a long time. Number one, the job market is only going to get more brutal. And number two, no company or job is stable. You need to look out for yourself.
If you work for a U.S. company that has over 100 employees and you have any kind of concerns this year that you might be affected by layoffs, this one's for you because you need to know about the WARN Act. W-A-R-N. It was founded in 1988. It's a federal act, and WARN stands for Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification. Essentially, what it says is that any company with over 100 employees that is planning a mass layoff or a site closure must give 60 days notice. They must register that they are planning to do these layoffs. And there are lists out there that you can search online to find out if your company is on the list. You want to pay attention to this so that you are not blindsided. Why am I stressing this? Because I am seeing various things coming across my desk that are saying a lot of companies, bigger companies, are planning to do more layoffs in the latter half of 2024. And I don't want you to be blindsided. Every single day, people are coming into work at Daily who got unexpectedly laid off. And now you're sitting in a position where you've got to speed up the process for yourself. There are things that you need to get in place to conduct a really strategic job search. And they don't take a ton of time, but you're already stressed out and emotional because you just got laid off. So really important tip is if you have any concerns, get yourself on the ready. Get your job search ready to be mobilized so that you're not, kicking yourself later that you didn't do this. It doesn't take as much time as people think, I promise you. And if you made it this far and you'd like somebody to coach you on that, TikTok 10. So we have a new secret discount code, TikTok 10, that will get you $10 a month off our programs. We have a 7-day free trial, so it's risk-free. And our memberships start at $29 a month, but you'd get it for $19 a month with TikTok 10. That's going to give you access to the Job Search Accountability Program. It's going to give you access to all of my live trainings all week long. And it's going to give you access, depending on what level, to private coaching too. So here's your chance. Get on the ready. Be ready. Or if you get impacted by one of these layoffs, we would love to serve you. Because you know what? If you can put your ego aside and realize with a little knowledge, we can help you catapult that job search, it's worth it. It really is worth it. So TikTok 10, I hope you take me up on that offer. But more importantly, think about the WARN Act. Stay tuned. If you work for a company with over 100 employees, be aware, okay? Love you all. Good luck. Go get them.
Man, shout out to both of these clips because literally we have a proven strategy that we show here that businesses go through here. First, we're going to see who's going to come back into the office, who's going to relocate. Those are going to be the easy pickings that we're going to go ahead and cut off and fire them first because, easy excuse, you're not coming back, you don't want to work. Then we'll go ahead and go into how can we now weed them out. We're going to qualify you, see if you check off for this, see if you do this. How much do you want to stay with this company? How loyal, how hard are you willing to work for a little bit of pay? How hard? So then we get into that aspect, and then you have an entire website that tells you if your job is going to be doing layoffs here soon. These are great, amazing resources. Make sure you have them in your tool bag, especially if you have a W-2.
Hey folks, so I will be getting laid off in exactly 10 minutes. Yikes. Never thought that this would be happening to me, but oh well, you never know, right, when it happens. So I got an invite for an 8:30 a.m. morning meeting, business updates. But we all know what that means, right? Business updates for a meeting that you gave me no notice for, and it's literally super early in the morning as well, but oh well. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have even guessed it from that. The reason why I knew about it was because someone at our workplace fucked up because they sent out termination and that your employment has been terminated to a lot of employees. I don't know how many, to be very honest, but one of my colleagues called me. She was panicking. She said, hey, check your email. This is being let go. Like, oh, really? So I checked my emails and then I verified with a couple of other of my teammates and they received it too. So it seems like a lot of people got it and then they said, oh shit, oops, what have you done? And then they backtracked it. It was a DocuSign, so they voided the contract, whatever that letter was. But that definitely was I was mentally prepared because when throughout the night I was like, okay, probably this is happening in the morning or day after, whatever, but they probably were not supposed to do this and they kind of gave everyone a heads up. So sucks to be them because they effed up big time, but oh well. Regardless of that, I'm still probably losing my job in now 8 minutes. So let's get laid off with me. It's kind of really sad though, not gonna lie, it's fucked up, but oh well.
I got a random meeting on my calendar. I hope I'm not getting fired, I will die. Someone else is in there, I'm getting fired. Oh my god, I'm getting fired. Hello.
Good morning, Edgar.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you. I asked, who I think you know, to join us for this call. She is our HR representative. We've got some updates we'd like to share with you this morning.
Okay.
While we originally believed that we would be integrating with, we've instead determined that it was best for us to refocus the agency. Unfortunately, as you may know, the lack of growth and the decline in our client revenue has negatively impacted our business beyond what we can sustain. And it's forced us to make what are very difficult decisions to eliminate roles within the agency. And this includes the elimination of your role, making today your last day. Please know that it was a very difficult decision.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Heather. I wish you the best.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Imagine getting these early morning Zoom calls, meetings, 2 people in there, and you already know what's about to go down. How are you reacting? Are you gonna bust and act a fool? Y'all firing me? I want to know y'all actual reactions if you see that email coming in, knowing that there's 2 HR, you see them, we have an early morning meeting, it was unscheduled, what is going on? What are your thoughts that's going through your head? Is it an immediate fire? Or is it, dang, I forgot to go ahead and clock out, so they're probably talking to me about clocking out or something like that? Like, what's going in your mind on these? These are draw clinching moments. Serious, sucks so much to have to sit through that and knowing that you have no more income coming in and you got to immediately try to figure something out.
Okay, so it's Tuesday, just afternoon on the East Coast, and I've already spoken to 4 people this week who have been let go without severance, without anything. Just see you later, have a good life. What's going on? 2 of them are my closest friends, so I got like complete details, and it's insane. And 2 of them are former colleagues that I worked with years ago that I've reconnected with recently, and like, what's happening? How is this possible? When I got let go 2 out of the 3 times, I didn't get a package, I didn't get anything, and I was just like, that seems weird. But now I'm hearing these stories consistently. I didn't know this was a thing. I just thought I was in these weird circumstances, but apparently this is like a new norm with the job market, and I just need to know what's happening. And then I'm like also reading all these articles this morning about like this company's letting go 1,000 people, this company's letting go 500 people. What's going on? What is going on? And how do we fix it? It's like the problem is like literally out of this world, but we live on this world. So, and we need a job to live on this world. I need to.
Imagine being let go like that and nothing, no severance pay, no nothing is going on. And this is where we're at right now. And your kids, they're hungry. You better go feed them, go figure it out. But we're not giving you any severance pay and you're let go right now. Corporate America is going wild. And then this lady has been out of work for 4 months, applying to over 150 jobs, yo. But we just went over these wiped off statistics of 1 million jobs that were supposed to be created that we're being lied to, that were here, that really aren't. Man, it's just so frustrating, seriously. But let's go ahead and hop into the comments because I do want to see what people are talking about. The clip with her looking for a job for 4 months and over 150 applications. Now, the top comment here is, proud of you for being transparent and true to yourself with this video. Social media needs more of this. I wish you luck and prosperity. Yeah, I would honestly agree. More people need to be more transparent on social media, and it's not just a highlight reel, because this is real life and everyone is struggling right now.
I don't think there's anyone that can prepare you for the roller coaster of emotions that you go through when you get laid off from your job. First off, we're all human and we all have emotions and we all go through different things. When you initially get that call for when you're first laid off, you're kind of just in shock and you're not really sure how to process what's going on. Then you almost get this like sigh of relief. You're like, okay, maybe this wasn't destined for me, and now I have an opportunity to do something different or work for a company that's more stable. Then you go through like this motivational period where you're like, yes, I'm gonna hone in my skills. I'm gonna apply for jobs. I'm gonna focus on taking some time for myself and enjoying life a little bit and seeing where this takes me. Then after like the first couple of months and a couple hundred applications that you get sent out, then you start asking questions like, am I doing something wrong? Am I doing this right? Does my resume look correct? Am I networking properly? Am I talking to the right people? Do I need to reach out to a recruiter? All these kind of different thoughts start creeping into your head. Then by like month 3, self-doubt comes into play, as if, do I have enough experience? Am I good enough for this job? What else can I do to make myself look like a better candidate? Then comes like month 4 when you have your mental breakdown, where it seems like the world's gonna end. You kind of hit your breaking point and all those emotions finally come to a head and your bubble just bursts and you lash out, you're on edge, and nothing seems to be going right. Then month 5 comes along where you're really trying to stay positive. You have a good support group. People are trying to motivate you. You know, you have people telling you that it's all going to work out. You're going to find something better. Everything works out for a reason. But for some reason, you don't take much thought into it because you're still feeling the stress of the entire job application process. For me personally, I'm at the point where I don't want to go out much. I don't want to converse with a lot of people. I'm now becoming more of a homebody more than I ever have, where I just kind of want to sit inside my house all day long. And nothing is really exciting to me right now, which I hate to say, and I hate that it's impacting me this way, but I am human and I'm going through it right now. I feel for a lot of people right now that are going through this because the job market is really tough and it's really hard to stay motivated and stay positive. And I really do hope that everything happens for a reason, because it's tough. But if you have friends that are unemployed who got laid off, please give them some grace. If they lash out or are edgy and don't want to do much, it's not because they're doing it intentionally. It's because I think mentally a lot of us are just tapped out, where we're at the point where we're kind of numb to a lot of things right now. So for all of those that are going through right now, I understand what you're going through, and hopefully the light is at the end of the tunnel.
I wanted to add on this clip because it is really important that no one really talks about the emotions that you go through with being laid off. And I think this clip highlights it very well, and it's good for us to be aware of, because we are all human at the end of the day. We're about to go ahead and get into how people are doing literally anything to make money right now. We're talking about selling eggs, gig economy, all types of side hustles to make this money at the end of the month. So let's go ahead and get into the risk with that. What's going on? Why are people out here? Let's get into it right now. You see the title.
Follow me on my journey on becoming an egg donor. I recommend anyone to do it who is open and willing to help a family and, make some easy money. In my case, I use the money for school, which is great. This actually isn't my first time going through this process, though. But, as a woman, we're born with millions of hundreds of thousands of eggs. So giving away 10 to 30 eggs is just a drop in the bucket, So what you'll do is you'll go into a clinic every other day for an ultrasound and blood work, and they'll monitor the eggs, make sure everything is going well. And there's a lot more to discuss, but I am running out of time, so comment if you're interested in part 2.
I sold my children for $60,000, and the number one question I get asked is, do I regret it? Where are my children now? Do I still have contact with them? And to answer your questions, so in my 20s, I was an egg donor, and I did about 6 egg retrievals, and in the end made around $60,000. Obviously, donating your eggs has lifelong consequences and implications, and one of those is that somewhere out there, I have my DNA running around. 5 out of the 6 couples that I donated to have decided to remain anonymous, and I am in no contact with them. But one of the couples I am actually very good friends with, and I keep in touch via Instagram and Facebook. They are a gay couple from France, and both are so handsome, successful, and the only thing missing from their lives was a child. And I know this is gonna sound absolutely crazy, but about 3 years ago, I started dating a guy from France. I met this guy online, we chatted for 4 months, and after 4 months, I was like, okay, I'm gonna hop on a plane to France and meet you. And so I was posting all over Instagram and social media that I was gonna be taking a trip to Paris. And these 2 guys reached out to me and said, hey, we're in Paris, we would love to meet up with you and introduce you to our daughter. So not only did I hop on a plane to meet a guy that I met off of the internet for the first time, but I also was going to meet my biological daughter for the first time. I just remember seeing her for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, she really does look like me. It was a really surreal experience, and I don't think that a lot of egg donors get to have the experience of meeting the child that their eggs produced, which sounds so crazy. But yeah, that's been my experience. And so at the end of the day, a lot of people ask me, do I regret selling my children for $60,000? And the answer is no, and it will always be no.
Now, of course, I definitely do know that this isn't a new side hustle, selling your eggs and things like that, but it is new to me. I didn't know anything about it. So for you to be able to make racks, I'm talking racks off of selling your eggs, insane. And then, wait, hold on. We're going to have to react to this lady. She said, I made $60,000 from selling my eggs. Or no, not even that. I made $60,000 from selling my kids. Why you got to start the video like that? I understand it's social media, TikTok. I'll give you a pass for that, but come on, you're wild for that. So I got to go ahead and get into the comments, especially about her talking about selling her kids for $60,000. What the people talking about? All right, so the top comment here we have, what a wild way to phrase that. No, extremely wild way to phrase that. Why you got to say you so... But I get it. It's social media, TikTok. You got to try to get the views, attention. Okay. And then the next comment here, you didn't sell your children. You gave the gift of life to people who desperately needed it. Facts. Yeah, shout out to everybody who is, being able to help somebody get born. But, dang, it's so wild. Yeah, selling your eggs, $60,000. You get $60,000 for... Whoa. And then the last comment here, 2-time egg donor here, 2 sets of twins, and I have a relationship with all 4 kids. Best decision I've ever made. All right, I don't know. This is a different world for me. I've never had to experience this, but if it works, it works.
Do not donate your eggs. I'm only going to say it once. I know the ads are going crazy. Times is hard. Do not donate your eggs, okay? I've been seeing mad ads. I've seen 6 different ads from 6 different companies talking about donate your eggs, get $5,000 to $10,000. So I have a friend who fell for the ad, right? She donated her eggs. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not no short 1-2 process. It's a huge time commitment. It's months. You have to go to multiple doctor's appointments. You have to do injections. You have to do self-injections. You have to do a psychological test. There is a high risk associated with extracting eggs from your body. It's a high risk. You run the risk of ovarian cancer, getting ovarian cysts, having chronic pain for the rest of your life after that. They don't talk about that. And also you can get, it's like called like hypertension in your fallopian tubes or something, and your fallopian tubes can end up twisting and completely cutting off the circulation, and they'll have to remove your entire uterus, where you won't even be able to have children anymore. Now you're infertile. They don't talk about these things. They lead with the money. My friend now has chronic pain. She has to go to the doctor constantly. She has no choice. Yes, she got the money. Mind you, you don't get the whole 10,000, 30,000, whatever they offering you, because every company offers you something different. And they don't give you the money all one whoop whop. They give you it like at every stage. Like, oh, if you do the first doctor appointment, they give you $500. Oh, if you do the injections, they give you more money. And then if you do this, it's like at every level they give you like more money. It's not worth it. Don't fall for these ads. I keep seeing them. I know they pushing them heavy. They're really taking advantage of the fact that a lot of people are desperate for money right now, especially during the holidays. And I just want a lot of women to be aware that this is not some easy procedure that can just be done, a quick 1-2, and you're just going to go back to your regular life. This can really handicap you, and I don't think it's worth the money. Like, it's just not worth that little bit of money. Like 10,000, 20,000, 35,000, it's not worth you being in pain for the rest of your life. Like, maybe other people have a different type of experience. I don't know, but I know from my close friends' experience that I would not wish that on nobody.
Because I don't know too much about this procedure and it's all new to me, this side hustle about selling your eggs, I did want to see what are the dangers. And for this clip to go ahead and break that down, all the complications that come with donating your eggs, you literally are risking your life. Injections, she's going in on this clip.
You know, it's something I don't see too many people talking about right now in the economy. It's this. So layoffs are just starting for a lot of people, right? And it's only gonna get worse as the winter comes through. Like right after Christmas, January, February, better believe there's gonna be a lot of layoffs, especially going into Q1 when these guys can afford to dump a lot of payroll, or whenever their new tax cycle begins, right? You see how everyone is pushing for like these gig economy apps, like, you know, Uber, Instacart, DoorDash, all of that type of stuff, right? A lot of these things are gonna get flooded with a lot of people in these situations, because think about it. For a lot of people who need the cash right away, right? That's gonna be their quickest opportunity to make some quick cash. So if I were someone who was doing like Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats, anything like that, I would start preparing from now. And this is exactly how I would start doing that. You're gonna have to start like multi-apping like a madman or a madwoman. Like if you're just doing 1 or 2 apps, you're playing yourself, bro, because the order's about to dry up. And think about it, not only are the orders about to dry up, the good type of orders are about to dry up, because think about it like this, the amount of people who are gonna be making like $70 Uber Eats purchases and leaving like $15 tips, it's still gonna happen, but it's gonna go way down, like the amount of frequency that you're gonna see those, because there's more people on the app, and then on top of that, the recession's going on, so there's less people spending that type of money. So unfortunately, if you're in that situation, you're doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart, all that type of stuff, you're gonna have to start doing that like a madman. You're gonna have to start multi-apping like crazy. Like you're gonna have to be on every single app. You see what I'm saying? So that there's just no dead time. And I know people don't want to hear it, but like you're gonna have to work like 6-7 days a week. Like the days of working 5 days a week, especially if you're on those platforms, bro, those are gone, fam. Those are gone. That's not happening no more.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the next side hustle or gig economy job, Uber here. Now, people are saying Uber is a ripoff, Uber is a scam. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Full disclosure, I do go ahead and turn on that app every now and then to go ahead and make some coins. So let's go ahead and see what they're talking about and see if I can relate, or if you can relate, because I know it's hard out here.
Uber is one of the worst things to happen to America. Because, like, we've essentially now have massive corporations acting as middlemen. They are just facilitating, or I should say, inserting themselves in a process that they really don't need to be in, and then profiting crazily off of that. Uber does what? It's a ride-sharing app, right? Does Uber provide the vehicles? No. So there's no cost to Uber. Does Uber provide vehicle maintenance? No. So there's no cost to them. The cost comes to the driver and the consumer, right? If I'm paying for an Uber, I'm paying to take a ride somewhere, and the driver is getting paid for that ride. However, Uber takes a large portion of that money and doesn't have to pay a lot in terms of like I guess payment to the employees, because they don't have employees. They have independent contractors. And since they're independent contractors, they are not guaranteed a wage. So Uber can take all this profit from stealing from the workers and then just pocket it. Airbnb, same situation. Airbnb doesn't have buildings that they use and rent out. It's people's homes. And because of that market, people are now, who have the means to do so, buying up apartments and areas just to rent out for Airbnbs, which again gives them money, but for the consumers. All these businesses now, even hotels like the Marriott, you have Walmart, you have Target, as I talked about yesterday. All of these people are now trying to become middlemen. They want to outsource things and make all the profit. I just saw a video where they were, it was Some More News. I love that show. They were talking about this, and they were talking about the fact that there was a guy who in like Cedar Rapids hired a construction crew to help build a home. The construction crew that he hired a secondary contractor to do that, and then that contractor brought people from outside of the state with him to this job site to work on the job. No one was getting paid, and the workers ran out of money and food. They were there for a month. They ran out of food. They eventually got back pay because, they went to court. But Aurora Boreas we're entering now, where you hire someone to do a task. Meanwhile, they're getting the money, and then they're contracting that to someone else, and they're contracting someone else, and so on and so forth. That's not sustainable. But these corporations don't care. This gig economy that we all are finding ourselves having to participate in is the goal. Like this is what they wanted. They want us to be independent contractors so they can over forever. Why do you think they're so anti-union? Why do you think they would rather pay these fines than actually pay people? Because it's the easier way to make money for them. Fines are always way less than a proper state make by exploiting people, because we don't have any sort of institution within this country with enough funding to have any teeth to do any actual damage. Because we have had these rich people lobbying for such a long time that we view those industries that would regulate them as the enemies. Like, think about it. Businesses, corporations have lobbyists that basically get to dictate how regulated corporations can be. No other area works that way. Like, imagine if we were like, I know police ACAB, right? But imagine if we were like, hey, so you could only pull me over 2 times a year. Otherwise, we're going to see you doing this job. Like, that'd be crazy. But that's how corporations work. They have the power to be like, actually, we're not going to let you confirm this person because they're very anti-gig economy, but we'll let you confirm this person. And that just works for them.
Working for companies like Lyft and Uber is a scam. People refuse to admit it, but it's the truth. Let me explain. The gig economy doesn't exist to offer people flexible, low-commitment jobs. It exists to make things cheaper for the next generation of tech companies. Rideshare drivers are independent contractors. That means companies don't have to pay them benefits and they're legally unable to unionize. The model also shifts a lot of the risk of the job onto the contractor. The companies pay above market rates knowing that drivers will not properly account for the long-term cost of running their car into the ground. The flexibility of gig economy comes at a steep cost for workers.
Somebody who does driving every now and then, I can definitely tell you Uber is absolutely a scam. Absolutely is a scam because not only the way that they pay you, they ain't paying you right and fairly, but also you got to talk in the effect of you got to take into the effect the damage that's going into your car. Absolutely is a scam, but when you need some coins, you got to put some food on the table. You got to do what you got to do. I understand.
If you were an Uber driver, would you take this ride? Now, how you read this is you would make about $94 for 2 hours and 20 minutes of your time. You might be like, wow, that's over $40 an hour. That's great. I'll take that. What are Uber drivers complaining about? They're making over $40 an hour. And a lot of new Uber drivers will see that, oh, 94 and 2+ hours, that's great. I'll take it. But an experienced Uber driver knows that this ride is bullshit for many reasons. One, it's not just 2 hours and 20 minutes. If you live in Scottsdale where this ride starts, you got to make your way all the way back. So that's 2 hours and 20 minutes to Tucson and 2+ hours back to where you live. So that's really 4 hours total. And you might be like, okay, I mean, $94 and 4 hours, that's still not too bad. But the key here Experienced Uber drivers will not look at the total time, they will look at the total mileage, which is 145 miles. And that's just one way. And so that's 290 miles round trip, which is crazy for only $94. The IRS and the US government thinks in order to operate a vehicle for your work, it costs you 65 cents per mile. So you are not making any profit when you consider gas and you consider wear and tear in the car and everything that goes into operating a car for gig work. And you are losing money when you consider the fact that you have to drive your ass back 2 hours and 20 minutes back to where you came from. And if you live in Arizona, you know that you don't want to go to Tucson. Tucson, go Devils. Yeah, if you're in a pinch, if you're $90 short on rent and rent's due tomorrow, you might just want to go ahead and take it. I don't know. Or you never know. The passenger obviously has the money. They might leave you a really nice tip. You might have a really nice conversation. You might meet a new best friend in those 2 hours. Or they could be a jerk and you hate your life for 2 hours. So I personally would not recommend taking any long drives until Uber compensates the drivers better for these long trips and accounts for the fact that we got to drive back. So what would you...
Now, would you do that drive for 290 miles for $94 when you know that you're about to be spending 4 hours driving and your car is about to get beat up with almost 300 miles and you're only getting $94? And that was back when Uber was actually paying a little bit more. They were still gouging prices on the drive about the guests who are paying and giving the driver crumbs, but it's even more now. For this exact ride, they'll give you 60 to 70 bucks now if you're lucky. That's how it's going in this economy. It's sad out here and it's insane, man, but I understand you got to do what you got to do. All right, so we understand that there's financially they're not paying you, and we understand that you're doing long range miles and you're messing up your car. But what about the actual risk about somebody being in your car?
Dashboard video shows the moment an Uber driver was shot at while picking up a woman in Chicago.
Go, go, go. You finna shoot up the car.
Shoot up the car?
Yeah, go.
What the What is that?
Yeah, this video is now going viral on social media. This poor driver, he says the woman contacted police while he pulled over not too far from the scene, but then more gunshots were fired. He says he felt unsafe and told her he couldn't wait for police any longer. They changed their destination and the woman was dropped off at a nearby relative's house. Still not clear what led to the shooting, but it happened in one of Chicago's most violent neighborhoods.
You telling me that this lady just told me to pull off and start driving because there's people about to start shooting at my car and I just picked you up? What is going on out here? Don't get me involved in your domestic situation. I'm about to tear up my car. I'm about to get bullet holes because I'm doing my job trying to make an extra side hustle, get a little bit of extra crumbs over here, and you gonna get me shot.
What? Jennifer Gilbo riding in Shoel Mahmoud's car when out of nowhere she appears to snap, lunging at the Uber driver, dousing him with pepper spray. Shoel picked up Jennifer and a friend on West 46th Street, but when they got to 65th and Lex, things quickly went south early Wednesday morning. What? Shoel insists he hadn't said a word to the ladies. The other passenger appears just as stunned.
Jen, what?
Repeatedly asking her friend why she was doing this, Jennifer would only say,
"Get him out."
Get him out. In the first few seconds, Shoel tells me he tried to get out, but his seatbelt was on. Police did arrest Jennifer. She's charged with assault and now has a lawyer who at this point is not commenting.
Just to be driving and randomly this lady's going to start pepper spraying you. People out here are so crazy and so wild. If you are out here turning on these apps and using this gig economy as a way to make some side hustle and get some money, make sure you have a camera set up for you because you got to be protected out here, man, for real, honestly.
What happens when Uber says, okay, no more drivers? We're cutting drivers. What happens when they say we're cutting Uber Eats delivery people? People in this economy are too dependent on gig work. Uber Eats, DoorDash, other Postmates, other delivery services. These jobs that people heavily depend on, once they're torn away, what will they do? We always think we have the ability to go make some money on the side. I'll just jump in the car, do some Uber rides and come back. What happens when they say no more? And all you have is your job or lack thereof. It's going to be a mess. So once that starts falling apart, I think we're really going to start seeing some pain in the economy. But listen, I don't know when that's going to happen. I think it's going to happen soon, 8 months, 9 months from now, but that's all I can.
I really did like this last clip because what happens when the apps don't work? What happens when you try to turn on the app and you can no longer, we're no longer accepting riders, everything is shutting down, you got to figure it out. The absolute point I want to drive home at the end of this video is, yes, Uber and Lyft, you're not going to get rich off of this, and you're already depreciating and destroying your car, but you have to do what you got to do. Side hustle, selling your eggs. If you got to risk your life, oh man, that sounds crazy. If you got to risk your life, you got to damage your car, whatever you got to do to make sure that you're feeding your kids, I understand you got to take that risk. Some people will take it. But at the same time, know that there's other ways to go ahead and make funds. Something online, anything online. Again, I'm going to harp on that. This is the time. It is time for you to go ahead and launch your career. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it may be. This is the time. I want to say thank you guys though for hanging with me. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like. Comment down below what you want me to react to next and your thoughts on this video, man. We got to get out here and we got to make this money. Please, please tell me some pain points that would prevent you from actually starting your online career, whatever that may be. If you don't want to be seen or whatever it may be, please comment down below. I definitely want to go ahead and get some feedback, but I do appreciate you guys hanging out here with me. Definitely take care. It's your boy Hope, and we'll go ahead and see you guys in the next video.